What's up? Hello. It is me, it is I, it is JD. I need to move stuff. Oh my goodness. Okay. Alright. We got that set up. You guys, holy shit. So I am excited. I've had a really amazing day. I'm so grateful. I got to spend it with my daughter. So fun. I took her swimming. It was just loads and loads of fun. You can probably imagine how much fun it was. But so anyways, today is episode 8. I'm pretty sure episode 8. No, episode 9. I lied. The title is literally right there. I'm fucking dead. Episode 9, and this is going to be a really interesting podcast. One, because I do have a special guest of mine, a friend of mine, coming in on this with me, and I'm very excited to give my opinion, do all these things. I wrote a bunch of stuff down, and I'm just really fucking stoked and excited. So today is going to be all about sacrifice. And before we get into it, obviously, I want to wait. I do want to wait for my friend or whatever, but I guess I'll cross my legs to feel more casual. Sacrifice is it's so different between people. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things that some people are willing to sacrifice. Jesus, if I could figure this out for a second to make me feel better, that would be great. Okay, we're good. Because I was trying to fucking fix the lighting because I stream in the daytime, so it's just kind of annoying. But anyways, we're going to talk about it, and why do people sacrifice? Why do people feel like they have to sacrifice when they don't? There are times where you do. There's always sacrifice, just because we don't have enough time, and we don't have, all the knowledge. We have to get the knowledge, and there's just a lot of things and a lot of work that we have to do within ourselves before we're able to continually learn, continually sacrifice, knowing when to. Is there a right or wrong time to sacrifice? Yes. Yes. I can't say that enough. Yes, it is. And we're going to get into it. But if you sacrifice the wrong things at the wrong times, your life is going to just look a lot different. And I'm not sighing as in like, oh, your life is going to be shitty. No, it just means that in life there are consequences with every single action that you do. So telling yourself that oh, I've made the right decision, but you're depressed and you're sad, you didn't make the right decision. You know what I mean? When you look at the consequences and then you look at the sacrifice, you can realize it wasn't worth it. Everyone can see that. That is not something that is for up to debate. You know what I mean? That is, damn, your life sucks based off of the decisions that you made. And you have to learn how to take accountability and take responsibility for not only the choices that you made, but the consequences that come with those choices. And it's tough. It's not easy, because not everybody is born in the same exact place and raised the same exact way. Like, yeah, we're all human, but we all have a different perspective and a different way of looking at things. So we have to understand, first off and right off the bat, we all have different personalities, and what sacrifice looks like for me is going to look different for what sacrifice looks like for you. And that's okay. You're supposed to figure out what you're meant to sacrifice and what you're not meant to sacrifice. Whatever that means for you. That's the important part, is that it's up to you, and make sure you're being genuine with yourself. And you'll be able to make those relationships, genuine relationships, you'll be able to make sacrifices where sacrifices are meant to be taken, or done, and it's a really cool process. But really, when you make a wrong decision and the consequences outweigh the sacrifice, and you're on a hamster wheel. You're on a hamster wheel and you're trying to get a certain outcome, and you just keep doing the same shit, and it's not going to happen. And that's a tough reality to live in, especially if you don't know that you're living in that. It's tough. It's difficult to make friends. It's difficult. It's difficult for not only you to care about somebody, but it's difficult to let somebody care about you. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes, based off of certain sacrifices you make, you're not going to be able to let somebody love you the way that you need to be loved. And that's a very difficult reality to get into. Hold on. I gotta fix this lighting. My armpits. Yeah. Fuck. Figuring out this lighting situation at fucking 9 p.m. at night is kind of annoying, and I kind of regret it a little bit. But anyways, we're going to be getting into it very soon, but just to come off from experience, this is not I'm not reading this off of a paper. This is coming from my personal opinion. There's a lot of sacrifices that I've made that have made it difficult for me now, such as control. I'm very controlling. I like things a certain way, and if it's not that way, I'm good. You know what I mean? For example, there are a lot of times where I'm just if a relationship isn't the way it needs to be, or look the way it needs to look, or satisfy me the way it needs to satisfy me, I'm not doing it. Whether it be a friendship, whether it be romantic, whether it is family orientated, I don't have time for it. I really don't. I have a purpose for myself, and I have a way of doing things, you know what I mean? So I just don't give a shit because of that sacrifice. Emmy. Oh, she's so cute. I love my Emma. I'm so white. How am I gonna fix that? I don't know if I can fix that. Yeah, but because of the sacrifices I have looks like I have a little fucking, because of the sacrifices that I've chose to make in my life, it is difficult to make friends. It's difficult. It's just difficult because I have this fucking hold on control. But with choosing that and making those sacrifices, that comes consequences. So for that example, I'm lonely a lot. I don't have a ton of friends. And the friends that I do have, if I need something, dude, they're there. They're there for me in a heartbeat if I need something. But are they the type of people to just text me? No. You know what I mean? So because of my sacrifice with only wanting things a certain way, I'm losing out on a lot of opportunities because, yeah. But to me, it's worth it because I'd rather be alone. If shit is not right, you know what I mean? I'd rather be alone. I'm good. I'm solid. Whatever that means for me, I accept it. And that's the kind of person I am. I'd rather have no friends. I genuinely would rather have no fucking friends than have a friend that is 50-50 my friend. 50% of the time that they're a good person. No, no, I'm good. I'm good. I don't need that. I don't accept that. I don't, you know what I mean? When I'm a friend, when I'm a girlfriend, when I'm all of these different things. Sorry, when I'm all of these different things, I just give a shit. And that's like what that looks like. You know? And people don't have that same mentality anymore. They don't have the mentality of, if you want a friend, you're going to have to make sacrifices. If you want a relationship, you're going to have to make sacrifices. That's life. You know what I mean? And a lot of people and parents from different generations, they don't understand that they have to teach how to make sacrifices. You know what I mean? It's taken me 7 years to learn how to make the right sacrifices. And I always think to myself, like, if I just had somebody in my life that, like, gave a shit, you know what I mean? Maybe I would have learned it faster. But it's not, you know, we can't be doing that. Hi, Ayla. Hi. Is it Ayla? Isla? You have to be a friend if you want one. Exactly. You have to put in the effort to be a friend. And sometimes I come on too strong. Sometimes I come on too strong because a lot of people don't understand what being a friend is and what being a good person is. A lot of the time when I'm being a good friend, they think I'm fucking trying to come on to them and have sex with them. You know what I'm saying? It's just, no. It's like there's a level of maturity that needs to be understood if you want to be my friend to begin with. Because that's just how I am. Does that make me a lot more lonely? Yes, in today's world. But are there people out there that are going to understand what I'm saying? Yes. There are people out there that give a shit about what I have to say, and you have to remember that. There's people that care about what you have to say. You know what I mean? You just gotta find them, for sure. I used to have more faith in others. I thought being a friend got you one, but that is so wrong. Yes. It really is. I completely get what you're saying. Like, I used to be that kind of friend where I would give. And actually, in reality, I was being taken advantage of. And I didn't understand that. And they didn't understand that. And sometimes that's the case. You know, sometimes people understand, sometimes people don't understand. And that happens. And that happens. So, sorry, I was seeing where my friend was. And it just sucks because what are those? What are we talking about? Those are sacrifices that you have to learn to make in the right time to make them. So today is going to be all about sacrifice. Some things I have written down here is, why do we sacrifice? Is it noble? Do we think that that's noble to sacrifice something? You know what I mean? Do we get something out of it, or do we get something from somebody else? Can we really have it all? Do we have to make sacrifices? And these are a lot of the things that we're going to be talking about that'll change your life. I'm not kidding. Just learning these different things will change your life. I know there are so many videos on YouTube, on Twitch, on whatever the fuck that talk about exactly what I'm going to be talking about, but they're not me. So coming from my experience and who I am and talking about sacrifices, it does look different, and I hope that you can take something away from this stream, and that it makes your life better. So let's get into it. So what are some examples? What are some examples of sacrifices? We got, sacrificing animals. That was a thing. At a certain point in time, that was a thing. Sacrificing animals and killing them motherfuckers for shit. You know what I mean? Sacrificing people, sacrificing feelings, wants, needs, your dreams. For maybe you're in a relationship and you feel that you have to sacrifice so much of yourself in order to be with them. You know what I mean? Are you making the right sacrifices that you need to be making? You know what I mean? These are questions that you should ask yourself. Really, really weigh out the pros and cons. But sacrificing your feelings, your wants, your needs, your dreams for a person is not okay. Sacrificing those things, I say this is all my opinion. It's not okay in my opinion, because okay, let's say you want to help people. Say you want to help people and save the fucking world like I do. You're not going to be able to save the world if you don't know how to take care of yourself. So crucial. This is the first lesson that I want to talk about. Maybe it's a lesson, maybe it's a reminder, whatever it may be for you. Please hear me, because you have to come first. It's great you want to help people and save the world, but you're not going to be able to do that if you don't understand how you work. So your feelings, your wants, your needs, your dreams are so important to not only understand and know, but it's very important to be able to communicate those things. That way, when things are communicated properly, you'll be able to know exactly what sacrifices you need to make. And I will give you guys examples. I have a friend coming soon. This is going to be really cool. So, yes, it is important. What are some sacrifices that we make deliberately, like on purpose? On purpose, we make these sacrifices. What are those? Maybe sleep, relationships, urges, fear, stress, hobbies, and, and maybe we're sacrificing things for a moment at a time. You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be, that doesn't necessarily make it okay. But these are just some things that you're in life, you're going to have to sacrifice at some point. So we talked about the feelings, the wants, the needs. Those are things that you shouldn't sacrifice, and you should know exactly what those are for you. And then, but things like sleep, relationship, urges, fear, stress, things like that. Those are a lot of things that we have to learn to sacrifice, that we have to learn that, hey, maybe I'm stressing myself out way too much. And you know what I mean? Let me sacrifice that stress. Let me sacrifice that urge that's bothering me. Let me just put that to the side and look at what I need to look at. And those are sacrifices that we need to make sure that we understand how to make, when to make, all of those things. So yeah, I mean, it's crazy. Is sacrificing noble? Sometimes we make sacrifices to try to make ourselves look better than we actually look. Maybe we try to come off a certain way than how we actually are. Does that make me noble? Does that make me a good person? I have this, I have that. Oh, let me give you some money. I'll sacrifice my money to give it to you. Not always. You get what I mean? Not always. It's not always a noble thing, sacrificing. You know what I mean? And calling yourself noble and thinking your ego's out the roof and you're such a good person because of all the fucking sacrifices that you choose to make. Is that really a good thing? You know what I mean? You can ask yourself these questions, and for me personally, no. I'm not that kind of person to always talk about the sacrifices that I'm making, the sacrifices that I've made. I'm just not that kind of person. They're noted. I'm aware of what sacrifices I make when, but do I ever think, man, I'm noble? No, not really. Not really. All right. So we have to learn, now that we talked about sacrifices in general, that was generalized speaking. So let's get into it even deeper than that. Take a moment to think about your sacrifices. Did you have to make them? Could you have found a better way? How much are you willing to sacrifice? When you become a completely different person, you've either made too many sacrifices or you've made too many of the wrong sacrifices. And you'll just be really sad. And you're not going to understand why. You're not going to know why you're sad. You're not going to know why you're depressed. You're not going to know how to get out of it because you dug yourself in a hole that's so deep. You know, whether it was on purpose, it doesn't fucking matter. You did it yourself. And you have to really ask yourself these hard questions. How much are you willing to sacrifice? Could you have found a better way? Did you have to make that? You told yourself maybe, I have to make this sacrifice to get blah, blah, blah. But first, did you really need blah, blah, blah? And did you have to make that big of a sacrifice? You know what I mean? When selling your soul to the devil is not just a religious thing. That's a thing that happens on a daily basis. Every time you choose to not fold your laundry, all the way to every time you chose to hurt somebody's feelings on purpose. That is essentially selling your soul to the devil. You're basically allowing something really fucked up to happen just so you can get whatever out of it. Whether it's to make you feel good, whether it is to get something from a person, whether it's for money, whatever it is, that is physically and actually mentally selling your soul to the devil. That's the only way I could put it, you know what I mean? Because when you do that, depending on how many times you do it, you know, maybe you've done it your whole life, you will be sad and you will only be able to experience a certain amount of happiness, and you will be stuck and you don't know how to get out of it, and it's hard. I'm not saying you can't get out of it and learn from it and learn from those things like I have. You know, I'm not saying I don't know who you are, but like, I'm saying in general of like, you know what I mean? Like, you can choose to learn from it and move on and do better, or you can learn to adjust your sacrifices. So yeah, and to add on that, sorry, I keep checking my phone because I have a friend that's coming. To add on that, people always say like, oh, I'm gonna have to do this to get that. Oh, I'm gonna have to blah 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 to get blah 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 blah. You don't have to. You can create your own path. You can create your own shit. Is that harder? Oh, it's too hard. I don't want to do that. Okay, then shut the fuck up. then shut the fuck up. You get what I'm saying? I'm not good with bitchers. You know, bitchers, people who bitch and bitch and bitch. You don't have to make those sacrifices. You don't have to make those choices. You're choosing to do them because you want blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to sit here and listen to you bitch. That's what you want. That's what you want. You get what I mean? I can come off very black and white. I understand the gray. But you have to be able and mentally capable of understanding the decisions that you're making. You know what I mean? People who make decisions and blame somebody else for the decisions that they chose to make, I don't have time for. I don't have patience for. I don't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? Because that's something that I'm past. It's something that I don't want to go back to. I don't want to be around it. I don't want to... It fucking sucks my energy. If that means... See, that's what I'm saying. If I have to sacrifice having friends, I will. To me, that's a sacrifice worth making. How much are you willing to sacrifice? I'm willing to be fucking completely alone if it means I don't have to deal with other people's problems. Could you have found a better way? At this point in time, no. Maybe in the future, yes, but at this point in time, no. Did you have to make them? Yes. Because being friends with people who suck the fucking energy out of me, ew, I have to because I have to put myself first. I have to put myself first because of what I want to do. I have to understand who I am. I have to do all of these things, you know what I mean? Those are sacrifices that I'm willing to make. Those are questions that I'm willing and understanding to answer. Do you get what I'm saying? So it just really depends. But in that specific case, I'd rather be alone and have no friends. I'd rather have, I can't see the views. I can't see it, so I don't know why I did that, but I'd rather have 0 likes, 0 follows, 0 views than sacrifice who I am to make something more amusing. You get what I'm saying? I do want to get back into making YouTube videos. I know you guys really like the YouTube videos as well, so I'll probably get back into that. But I'll have to make certain sacrifices in order to do that. So is it, you know what I mean? All those questions. How much am I willing to sacrifice? Blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? So those are 3 questions that you need to ask yourself before you make a sacrifice, in my opinion. And it has helped me so much. It has changed my life. There were sacrifices that I almost made. I almost made certain sacrifices, but because I asked myself honestly these questions, I didn't make those sacrifices, and I didn't lose out on anything, and I'm very grateful for that. So, yeah, hopefully that helps as well. So, getting more into this, getting even deeper, shall we? Let's drink some water. I'm fucking, is it hot in here? It feels hot in here. Oh, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna just die. I look hot with my hair down, to be honest. Bro, it actually turns out that my friend isn't gonna fucking be here. I hope. He said that his computer was all fucky. I don't know. There's no reason for me not to trust him, so I don't know. But it is weird, and it's annoying how life just does that, you know? Life sometimes makes the decisions for you, so. But okay, so let's get a little bit more into sacrifice. Each sacrifice has consequences and responsibilities. There's a balance in place, and the faster you learn who you are, the faster you can find it. Wow, how amazing is that sentence? Cow, hi Cow, it's so good to see you. I hope you're doing well and living your best life. Let's go. You're freaking awesome. Here, I'll say that sentence again. That's so good. Each sacrifice has consequences and responsibilities. There's a balance in place. The faster that you learn who you are, the faster you can find it. Bro, that's fucking poetry right there. Each sacrifice has consequences and responsibilities. Each thing, person, place, thing, whatever the fuck it may be, habit even, that you choose to do and make sacrifices to other things, that has consequences. That has responsibility. And if you don't understand what those are going to be, you're going to be sad. You're going to be depressed. You're going to be in all this loophole that's never ending. You're going to wonder why that person looks so much happier than you. You're going to wonder what's wrong with you. Is there something wrong with me? And all it is are the choices that you're making in your own life. Sometimes people aren't taught the right or wrong way to make choices, but it's your job. It doesn't matter what you're born into. It doesn't life doesn't give a shit what you're born into. And I had to learn that the hard way. But once you realize everybody's on a different playing field and that's just how the fucking dice is rolled, you will learn very quickly that the consequences and responsibilities that you have chose to make in your life are being ignored. You can't ignore those. Sacrifice equals consequences and responsibility. If you make a sacrifice, understand what comes after. If you don't, that's your problem. Do you get what I'm saying? If you choose not to do the necessary work for a choice that you have made, you will go through those things. You will go through sadness, you will go through depression, maybe you'll go through alcoholism, maybe you'll not have any friends and nobody wants to be your friend. Whatever the fucking case may be, you will live those consequences, and then you're going to have to go back and ask yourself, how much are you willing to sacrifice? Could you have found a better way? And did you have to make those sacrifices? And it goes all in a circle. So the way that I'm explaining this to you is all in a circle. So I'll say one thing, it comes back to this, back to this, just to understand how it works. You know what I mean? How long will you see the consequences after you've made the decision? It varies. It depends on the decision. So it's a lot to go into. The consequences and responsibilities. There is a balance in place. So everybody's born, right? You're born. You're a person. Oh shit, my friend's here. You're born. You're a person. No, come back. Why did you leave? Hello.
Hello,
How are you?
chilling.
Hell yeah. This is Brian. If you guys remember Brian, he was my roommate at one point, and he's absolutely amazing. He's so knowledgeable. He understands things that I don't think I'm able to understand. So he really brings a different perspective. So, yeah, what I was just saying, I believe that when you're born and you're a person, there's already a balance in place. Like, you have a personality and you just have to figure out what that is. You know what I mean? What do you think about that?
You saying that when you're born, you have a specific personality? Is that what you said?
Yeah, obviously nature versus nurture, whatever you want to say, but like you are who you're going to be. Like there's things you like, there's things you don't like, and it's just your job being born to figure out what that is. And when that comes to sacrifices, I think people have a hard time making the right sacrifices because they don't know who they are.
Well, the first part, like I'll feel like certain to a certain extent that people like are who they are from the very get-go, because like yeah, like nature nurture thing. It's like yeah, you'll gravitate towards something like you may be like naturally gifted at like math or reading or sports or music or whatever. But I do feel like let's say if you grow up in like a background of music, even if you may not be like musically inclined, if like let's say your parents are musicians, you're very likely gonna be very good at music. And again, not because you're naturally gifted at it, but because you have like way more tools at your disposal to be good at it, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. No, I love that. So I was just in the part talking about sacrifices. They when you make a sacrifice, that comes with consequences and that comes with responsibilities. Not understanding what those are, when you make a sacrifice, it'll fuck you up and you'll be sad and you won't know why because you made the wrong sacrifice. Do you believe that there are right sacrifices and wrong sacrifices?
For sure, I think there are. I do feel like we often like might mistake something being like wrong just because it didn't turn out the way we wanted it to be. Because like hindsight bias, like hindsight's always 2020,
Yeah.
right? And so you could say like, oh, I took this leap of faith in this job, right? And let's say like you open a business, right? And it doesn't work out. That business ends up closing, whatever it may be, and then you could say in hindsight, you'd be like, oh, that wasn't a worthy sacrifice. Now I'm, in the whole X amount of money. But like you're only saying that because it didn't work out,
Yeah.
right? You didn't know. I think taking that leap of faith was not a mistake and was not as like a wrong sacrifice. I think it was like the right thing to do. Just because it didn't work out doesn't mean it made it wrong. And that applies for many other things. It's like I think the outcome cannot dictate whether it was right or wrong. It should have already been right or wrong from the beginning.
Yeah. Yeah. That's so crazy. And I was talking about that too, like how everybody's born or put into a different playing field. We're all on different levels and we have to learn to go up or down or whatever the case may be. And, when you meet people at a specific point in time, you realize, like, man, okay, this person doesn't know those things or hasn't had the chance to learn those things or whatever the case may be. And it affects you. You know what I mean? Because you can't find certain friends, or you can't find certain relationships, or you can't get along with your own family, or you know what I mean. Whatever the case may be, not understanding those things is going to have consequences in other places.
Yeah, I agree.
Fuck yeah. Oh, you're so cool. Brian. Brian's so cool. Sorry, I'm so excited that you're here and like, yeah, let's go. I thought for a second, I was like, this motherfucker isn't coming. He's fucking with me.
Bro, my shit wasn't working.
All of a sudden, it always works.
No, I like reset my PC and everything. Like after I had to reset it. I don't even have like the Discord app. I'm using Microsoft Edge.
Got you. All right. Well, okay, we're gonna backtrack a little bit. So I was giving examples of sacrifices of like obviously what the oldest one, sacrificing animals, and like what that meant for people. And then going into like feelings, your wants, your needs, your dreams. Uh,
Sacrificing animals?
yeah, that was like way in the back in time. You know what I mean? Like that was a whole thing. People really believed that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It was a big deal. Like, oh, I'm not gonna get what I want unless I kill this rabbit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, I'm not too educated on that topic, so I'm not really sure like what the ins and outs were of like where like it originated from or what the history behind sacrificing like, goats and farm animals for like, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
God and
No,
the
that's
vice versa.
that's the point of that. The point of that is that it might not have been right, but the point is that they believed that it was right. What you choose to believe is stronger than any type of factual type shit. You know what I mean? Ever. So the fact that people believed, oh, I'm gonna get food if I kill this animal, and next thing the crops were growing, or whatever the case may be, they believed in it so much that that was like what helped them survive. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yeah.
crazy.
Like it's a driving force. Like whether it's real or not real, it's still like a driving force for them.
Yeah, yeah. Like killing dolphins isn't okay, but I mean, there's people killing dolphins for thousands of years. You know what I mean? So it's like, I mean, is it a set? You know what I mean? What are we doing? But I'm gonna go to the bathroom. If you want to talk about like some, what does sacrifice mean to you? And if you want to give some examples, you can. I have to pee.
Right. I'm honestly not used to this. No cap. Hey, can you still hear me? Is your mic wireless?
I was peeing and nothing was happening.
Oh, I didn't know you could still hear me.
Oh yeah. Why?
I was like, wait, am I talking to myself or am I talking to somebody? I didn't know.
Well, you always assume you're talking to somebody else. That's what I do. It works pretty well.
Wait, you went to the bathroom that quick? That was a
Yeah.
speed run. That's a world
Well, it was
record or something.
nothing but silent. I had to hurry up. I was
That's
like, I
crazy.
was like, fuck, he's
That might have been the
quiet.
fastest I've ever seen someone go to the bathroom.
Oh my
Might have a career in that.
god. Well, you were silent. Nothing was happening. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to pee quick. Wash my hands.
And you washed your hands that fast?
Yeah.
Nah, that's crazy.
Oh my gosh. Oh, that's so funny.
Nah, she didn't wash her hands, bro. You didn't wash your hands. That's crazy.
I did wash my hands.
Let's see. Let's see your hands.
Liar, fucking Jeremy. Jeremy's in the chat. He said liar, nasty.
I knew it, bruh. Ah, hell nah. You're just spreading germs everywhere.
I'm not. Oh my god. Okay, okay. Jesus fucking Christ. We need to get back to the thing. Okay. Why do you think people sacrifice? Whether themselves, their dreams, their feelings. Why do people do that?
I think, I mean, we sacrifice this for like what we believe is gonna be turn out like for the betterment of ourselves or someone else.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like a selfish act, sometimes it's a selfless act, but like, no matter what, a sacrifice, like by definition, is something that we like will give up so like for a better outcome. So like, yeah, whether we're like sacrificing our own time, our own health, or or sacrificing somebody else's time or effort or money or whatever it may be, we're always like want something else on the other side to be better by the end of it, whether it works out that way or not.
Yeah.
Obviously, like unknown, but yeah, like for example, if you're like maybe your mom gets sick, right? And you have to like sacrifice your own like social life to take care of her. It's like, the sacrifice is so that your mom can get better. You're hoping that, and your mom may not get better, that could be that grim reality where it's like she doesn't get better or like, but it doesn't matter. Like that's the sacrifice. So there was an attempt made for that better outcome.
All right. So you feel that most sacrifices are made in like a noble manner?
I would say so only because I feel like I'm slightly delusional and I feel like most people aren't innately bad. Like I feel like for the most, like they may be ignorant on what it is that they may be doing, but like for example, like I don't know, I feel like even when people do like things that are like selfish and they sacrifice, like let me think of an example. Mm,
Wow, that's some good stuff. That's good stuff.
I think of a good one.
Yeah. Good Witcher, welcome in. Welcome everybody. I really appreciate y'all being here. It's good to see you. We're talking about sacrifices, and what sacrifices are, what they mean, how to make them, how not to make them, what happens if you make certain sacrifices, what happens if you don't make certain sacrifices, and what that means. So, yeah, we're getting into it. Hopefully, you guys can take something away from this. I obviously hope so. Otherwise, then why the fuck am I here? But I hope you guys are living your best life tonight. Let's go.
Honestly, it could be even something simple like let's say like you eat like you go to bed late, right? And you have to get up early tomorrow or something,
Okay.
and you're not giving yourself enough rest. It's like you're sacrificing your sleep, I guess, and your well-being or something like in the moment just to like have fun or like maybe play video games or go out partying or whatever it may be, or maybe like doing something like doing homework, but whatever it may be, it's like yeah, you're sacrificing that is good, like no matter what, like getting a good amount, a healthy amount of sleep is a good thing,
Yeah.
but you're not like in the moment that you're making that sacrifice, you're not like, oh, I want to harm myself, right? I'm purposely trying to ruin my day tomorrow. That's not the intention behind it. So yeah, that's like my perspective on like it could apply to other things, but I would say like usually when we're making a sacrifice, we're not intentionally trying to like negatively impact ourselves or somebody else for the most part. And if it does end up negatively impacting somebody, it's like again we were like probably like ignorant to it.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, no, I love that. That was a great answer. That was a great answer. It's so true. It's so true. A lot of the time with the sacrifices that come into our lives and come into our path, a lot of us are very ignorant, and we just don't understand what that means. Whatever why we don't understand what that means, maybe we had different types of parents. Maybe our parents cared about us, maybe our parents didn't care about us. Maybe our parents gave too much of a shit to learn those things. So we have to take the initiative and the responsibility of learning what that means for ourselves. And in doing that, we are creating a happier life, a life that makes sense, a life that, very well may even line up because of the sacrifices that you made. So it does depend. But right on here I said, is it noble? What do we get out of it? Can we really have it all? Can do you believe that we can actually live a life with no sacrifices? And what does that mean?
no,
No. What's
I don't
so
believe
bad
so. I
about
don't
that?
believe that we could have a life without sacrifice. Life itself is like sacrifice. With every give, there's like a take,
Yeah.
You can't have it all.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
You could
I
be
believe
rich,
it.
you could be healthy, and there just isn't enough time to dedicate to every little thing.
Yeah.
And so you have to pick and choose what you're gonna prioritize, what matters to you. So,
Oh, I love that.
yeah.
That was like that was like music to my ears. That made my heart. Oh man, when I hear like words that just like make sense, it's so fucking good. It's like its own drug. So I appreciate that. It's fucking fun. So what are some sacrifices that you feel that would be deliberate? You know what I mean? Sacrifices that people make all the time, but it's okay. It makes sense. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it's not.
I think when people go to school and seek a higher education, I think they're sacrificing a lot of the times, like being able to go out with friends or like have a better social life, um, or have more free time to like explore their hobbies or interests. But instead, like they're taking on like what they believe will like long term benefit them the most. So like they're gonna go to school and get that 4-year degree and study, go through the hours and hours of sitting in the classroom,
Yeah.
um, so that hopefully on the other side they come out more educated and hopefully like can find a better career path than they would have if they did not have a degree.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, those are sacrifices people want to make, and sometimes depending on what you want to do, especially like be a doctor, you have to make those kinds of sacrifices. This reminds me of an economic term, cost opportunity. Concept is identifying the cost of a decision and comparing the cost to other options. That is a great point, Witcher. I completely agree. I think I kind of go it through life doing that. I ask myself, what do I get out of this? What do I not get out of this? Do I need to figure something else out? Do I not need to figure something out? And that's exactly cost opportunity. You have to weigh out the options to the best of your ability, and that's a tough thing to do. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's taken me a long time to learn how to do that, and not only learn how to do that, but learn how to do it properly. And making sure that I'm giving myself the best opportunity that I can. Do you weigh out your options a lot, Brian?
Um, I try to at the very least. For the most part, like I'm definitely like someone who's very reflective. So like in the moment, I'll be like, what? But at the same time, I am quite what's it called?
Spontaneous.
Spontaneous. Yes, I am quite spontaneous. I do like to like some very in the moment, try to like do anything without really thinking too much. As long as it's not like crazy, like I'm deliberately putting myself like at risk or something of something.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, though, when the sun goes down and you're just laying in bed, I think you're often like I think most people are probably like reflecting like what happened with that day. You know, like even on a small basis, like why did I say that or like why did I do that or what? And then even then, like I feel like a lot of people do that and they may not even like take action upon it. But they do know, like even people who like may be stuck in like a hard place or something, like
Mm.
they may have bad habits and they can recognize their bad habits. Like when they go to bed, I'm sure they're like, oh, I need to stop doing this, and they'll tell themselves that, but they may not actually do it.
Yeah.
But there's still that act of like self-reflection, like I shouldn't be doing this. But again, it takes a lot more than just like identifying the problem
Oh my god, that
to like
was
fix the
like
problem.
that was a perfect fucking what's it called? Segue into the next thing. It fuck. Wait, what did you just say? God damn it. Hold on. You said weighing out the options. They know. Okay, okay, okay. How do you know when to make a sacrifice? Do you have to want something that bad? Do you have to convince yourself? Do you have to find people that care about you to tell you that it's okay? Like, you know what I mean?
I'm gonna say maybe go against the grain here. I don't think a lot of people believe this because like we always like to overcomplicate our lives, but I would say it's as simple as saying like, how badly do you want it?
Yeah.
And I'm sure like it could. There are some things where like there's a chemical imbalance in your brain when like you're abusing like certain drugs. Like that's the only thing that, or like maybe you have like a mental disability or something, or maybe you're physically incapable. Obviously, those are like extremes, but most of the time that's we're not in that type of situation. So when you say like, oh, I really want to be healthy, I really want to be fit, I really want to go to school, I really want this degree, I really want to be rich,
Yeah.
like all these things are like, to be quite honest, like it is quite easy. Like you just have to set like work at it,
Yeah.
right? And if you don't do them, now I'm like first to admit too, like I could want uh you know make six figures. I want to make six figures.
Yeah.
I could very easily like take the time if I really wanted to. Like if I wanted to so badly, I could like do way more things in my life to get to the to make those six figures, right? I may not be as happy or like it's gonna like in the moment, but like again, if that was my goal and I really, really wanted to do that, then it's not like rocket science to like figure out how to get there. You know, there's many different avenues you could take. You know, there's so many tools like online tools for free or public education that you can pay for. Whatever it may be, sure you'll take certain setbacks if you have to take out like a loan or a student loan or anything like that,
Mm.
but it is possible and yeah, it's just a matter of wanting it. So I think a lot of times we just don't want to admit that we don't want it that bad.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. I think every sacrifice comes with wanting something that badly in order to make a sacrifice and to begin with. Um, Otherwise, that wouldn't even come up, you know? So I completely get where you're coming from on that. Moving on to the deeper parts, each sacrifice has consequences and responsibilities. There's a balance in place. The faster you learn who you are, the faster you can find it, and meaning you'll know what sacrifices to make and which ones not to make, which ones are good for you and which ones aren't so good for you. You know what I mean? Maybe somebody wants one thing, you feel deep down that you shouldn't do that, or for whatever reason it may be. Maybe you really want to, but you just can't because of what will be sacrificed in the long term. In the long term. So, what are some examples of this? Um, Depending on like what you add. So in life we have relationships, we have urges, we have sleep, stress, hobbies. These are things people sacrifice willingly, not willingly, all of the time. What happens when you add and subtract certain ones? So, if you have a relationship, but you're also getting urges and you're also scared to do things, this will only equal stress and confusion. You won't be able to make proper sacrifices because of the way your life is already set up, the choices that you've already made. And that's a tough one to get through. Another example is maybe you have urges to drink or smoke, but you're losing sleep. You have no sleep, and you have a relationship that you're supposed to be managing. That will equal stress and fear. You're going to be so scared that that person is going to leave you, and that you have to do this and this and this to keep them, that you're sacrificing some of the most important parts of yourself in order to do that. So it just depends. It's like adding and subtracting, but that's how I see it in my mind. How do you manage your sacrifices, Brian? And how many sacrifices would you say that you make on a daily basis?
That's a hard question, honestly. I think
You said, damn.
it's just like you're not really keeping count of like a sacrifice. Like it's often like we're not like all of them are just like byproducts of like just living your life that you're like sacrificing things on a subconscious level. Um,
I definitely have a control issue. I'm already aware of that. It is
what?
a control issue. It's a problem.
You have a control issue? Is that what you just said?
Well, yeah, I keep track of my sacrifices. That's crazy.
Maybe like there's no way you're keeping track of them like in the moment. Like then you wouldn't be able to function. There's like a million things going on at one given time.
Yeah, yeah. To the best of my ability, then. But yeah.
Like let's say like oh you go to you say you have a day off and I don't know you go to a certain restaurant. It's like you're not like in your head saying oh man I sacrificed the potential of me being able to go to like to the infinite number of other restaurants I could have gone that same day. It's like you're not
I do that.
doing
It
that.
depends. Like if I go to Kumo's and the food comes out mid, I think about all the other places I could have gone, and I'm super upset. Because I don't want mid. I want like fire. You know what I mean? If I thought something was going to be fire and then I sacrificed like not only my time and my money for something that was mid, I get pretty upset about it. And I
That's
don't make that
hindsight bias
again.
again. Like you're only identifying that it was a sacrifice only because it didn't turn out to be like it didn't meet your expectations. And you're like, ah,
Yeah.
I sacrificed all those other things. But had it not gone that way, you wouldn't have even thought you made a sacrifice. But you did, 'cause it was still a sacrifice. You still sacrificed other things to get there.
Well, just because you don't say, "Oh, I'm sacrificing mid food," doesn't mean you're not sacrificing mid food. If I went to a
But what
restaurant,
if it wasn't made? I'm saying like, what if you went and it was great? Would you still think it was a sacrifice?
I mean, yeah, I could have gotten something better. Either way, like there's a sacrifice being made every second, if you want to put it that way.
But
But
you think it
like,
was better? I mean, you could say
I'm
that means you could like.
if I have
That's like
fire
the grass is always
food,
greener argument. Like no matter what, you'd always be looking for something.
if I have
Like yo,
fire food, like I'm talking, I have fire as fuck food. There's still sacrifices being made. You know what I mean? Like I still
yes, I agree.
sacrifice mid food, and I acknowledge those. Even the shitty sacrifices, I acknowledge. He's like, what? Arguably, every choice is a sacrifice. The cost of the sacrifice is the make or break, depending on a personal value. Damn, that's some good shit, Witcher. Shit. Sunburn or okay, Toby. It's not a sunburn. Well, I do have a little bit of a sunburn, but it's also a little hot. But my cheeks are all red. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter why they're red. But that drifts more into regret and desire for perfection. Yes, fuck. You heard that? You heard that, Brian?
Yeah.
I think that's my problem. Because I do desire perfection as close as I can get it in a lot of situations. So I can understand that, and that's not healthy. But I think you're that way too. So I don't know what you're talking about.
I just feel like there's a positive way of like chasing perfection and a negative way of chasing perfection. Like you could use it as a motivator. It's like to be honest, like you're never going to be perfect. So like the whole idea of like chasing perfection is almost like you have to be you have to actually ident like come to terms with the fact that that'll never happen.
Yeah.
And if you don't think that way, then you're just gonna be miserable because you're gonna be like, oh, I need to be perfect. I need to chase this idea of being perfect, when in reality that will literally never happen.
Yeah.
Like you're just gonna, and because it never happens, but you believe it can happen, it is possible, then you're just gonna be miserable because you'll
Yeah.
never reach that goal. Versus like if you understand that it's not something that's actually attainable, being perfect, but you want to be as close to it, and you're okay with not being perfect, but like again, just you know, again, getting as close to it as possible, then that could be like a positive thing because you always be working towards something, and you'll be like, okay, I'm not like, the, I have the perfect diet or the perfect sleep schedule or the perfect job, but like it's something that like you're okay with, you're like
Yeah.
not necessarily content, but like at least satisfied that you can still find some fulfillment or like joy out of the things that you're currently doing.
Yeah. No, I love
It's like
that.
let's be honest, like here I could eat healthy, right? Let's say I could have a perfect diet, right? Let me cook at home every single day, eat fruits and vegetables, never go out to eat. And it's like, would I actually be happier that way? I don't think so, honestly. I might be
Yeah.
healthier, but would I be happier? I don't think
Yeah.
so. At least me personally. Other people, they might, that's like you know, they would really enjoy that. Like, being super healthy and all that stuff and fit, but again, I want to be like I also don't want to be sick or like overweight or whatever maybe, but I'm not like idolizing a perfect
Yeah.
situation.
I want to be yoked as well. I say that I want that, but when you look at the actions, like you say, it's like, do I really want that? And I don't. My actions aren't wanting that. Like I like the idea of something, like you said, but is it really going to benefit me the way it should? And that's crazy that you said that too, because I talked about these questions like when you're making a sacrifice, whatever the fuck sacrifice it is, a person, place, thing, whatever, food, whatever the fuck it may be. Ask yourself, did you have to make that sacrifice? Could you have found a better way? How much are you willing to sacrifice regarding something, whatever the sacrifice may be? It's so important because I almost made so many sacrifices based off of what I wanted. But when I asked myself those questions, I realized there's a better way. There's a better way to do this. And not even gonna lie to you, like, changed my life.
Like when you stopped making sacrifices, or
When I started asking myself, is that worth it? Is that sacrifice worth it? And take a moment to ask yourself if there's a better way, depending on if you want something, if you don't want something. Maybe I've had situations where it's like, can I be friends with this person? Like, realistically, can I be friends with this person? And because of the bad habits, the answer is no. I ask myself these three questions, and the answer is no. That is not a sacrifice worth making, because I'm not willing to sacrifice myself in that way you know um, so it is pretty interesting. At least I think so. What's it say? Yeah, perfection is impossible. Improvement, on the other hand, is an option. The healthy manner is to look for improvement, not torture yourself for shortcomings. Exactly. Look at yourself in the mirror and look at who you're talking shit about. If you're over there judging yourself on all of the choices that you're making, look in the mirror. Does that person deserve to be talked shit about? Does that person deserve what you're fucking lashing out about? No. I looked in the mirror when I was doing that and I just cried because, like, I'm a hard working person and I give a fuck about people. And I don't need, just because people may, or for example, may not want to be my friend, doesn't mean that that's okay to torture myself on my shortcomings. You know what I mean? It's not cool to beat myself up just because somebody doesn't want to be my friend. You know what I mean? So depending on the sacrifice, you really got to figure out what that means for you personally.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. That like you shouldn't like let other people's opinion of you like control your life.
Yeah, I love that. Um, so what was another example here that we're gonna be wrapping this up here in a second? Sleep. Okay, say you're getting sleep. Say you have a healthy relationship. Say you're finding your own hobbies. That can only really equal happiness. When you have that type of balance going on, you're sacrificing the right things. Yeah, so you're getting sleep, you're in a healthy relationship, you're doing your hobbies, you are subtracting, you are sacrificing, subtracting is sacrificing, you are sacrificing weed, alcohol, bad habits, whatever it may be. That can only equal happiness. That equals something inside that is indescribable. It's just so, it's worth living for. Making that right balance and continuing to do better for yourself and people around you. So I recommend finding whatever balance works for you. You know what I mean? Everybody's different, so I don't know. I don't know everybody, but yeah. So overall, sacrifices are necessary, but with the correct combinations, anything is possible. How do you feel about that, Brian?
Uh, Maybe I'm taking it too literal, but I'll go ahead and say that yeah, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Sure.
So, what's your overall thing
Honestly,
with sacrifices?
chase the fucking moon and the sun. And even if it isn't, just think it's possible. What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, jeez. Oh, shit. Yeah, yeah. I wonder what those consequences are going to look like.
I cannot hear anybody.
You can't hear anything?
Wait, why can't I hear anyone anymore?
What do you mean? It's me.
Did I mute this?
It's Shady.
Did I mute you?
You might have muted me because I'm not muted. Blah, blah, blah. He said, I can't hear anything. I can't hear. He said, I can't hear anything. I don't know where I am.
I can't hear anybody.
Why can't you hear? I don't know what happened in a matter of like a second.
Mic check, mic check.
Hi. I can hear you.
Did I get server muted? What is going on here?
I don't know. I don't know what's happening. Why wouldn't he be able to hear me? Oh, hold on. Let me check this. Microphone.
Hello?
Yeah. What? Hello? I mean, everything's working. Hacked. JK. I'm fucking dead. Hacks? You said hacks. I'm fucking dead. I can't hear anything. Why can't you hear anything? I'm still. I don't know what happened. I don't know where I am. Rejoin the call? Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Hello? I don't know. Rejoin? I don't know what happened. He, he's like, I can't hear anything. I don't know where I am. Yeah, I don't know. I
Hello,
think it's
hello, hello.
something on your part. Hello?
Hello.
God damn it, Percy.
What's
what
up?
what if he could hear me the whole fucking time?
Okay, I can hear you now. I can hear
I'm
you.
fucking dead. I was like, he's like, I can't hear you. I don't know where I am. I was just kidding.
What the fuck? That was so weird.
This is so funny. That was weird because I didn't even touch anything. RIP. I can hear both of you. Okay, good. Yeah, that's funny. So basically, we're wrapping up this conversation about sacrifices, and I really do believe anything is possible with the right combinations. If you don't know how to make combinations for yourself on what to sacrifice and what not to sacrifice, that all comes down to learning yourself and learning who you are as a person. That takes time. That takes honestly our whole life because we're always changing. So that's just kind of how that is. But the faster you can learn who you are, you'll understand what sacrifices to make and which ones not to make very quickly. You'll understand when you're in a bad situation and when to get out, and you'll understand when to stay in a situation, even if it means hurting, you know what I mean? Even if it means you're sacrificing a little bit for somebody else. So there's good sacrifices and there's bad sacrifices. And how can we keep this all in mind? We can strive for what we want, know who we are, aim towards our dreams, and make necessary sacrifices. And not only that, learn from them. If you're making a sacrifice, learn from it. If there's a lesson inside of a sacrifice, learn from that. Maybe that has already passed. Maybe it was an opportunity that you didn't take advantage of, or maybe you said no to something and yes to something else. Whatever the fucking case is, learn from it because those are the choices that were made. Take responsibility and apply that. Apply that to your life, however that works for you. You know. What about you, Brian? Do you have anything else you want to say about sacrifices?
No, I think I kind of like what you just said was a good was good wrap up. I'd say amen to that, you know.
He said amen. I'm fucking dead. Amen. I'm dead. Are you religious? I didn't think you were religious.
Uh, no, I'm not.
Why?
Why am I not religious?
I'm just
I
curious.
think um there's too many things going on in the world
Okay.
that like if there was an all powerful being, right?
Hmm.
What's the word? Omnipotent or something like that.
I don't know the actual like word for it, but yeah.
Yeah, if someone's omnipotent, right? Unlimited power, authority. It's like there's too many things going on, in my personal opinion, uh, that would like disprove someone being omnipotent, right? And then you can say that, well, they allow it to happen, so you could like learn from it or whatever it may be. I mean, sure, but there's some things that happen that like don't better anybody, like real tragedies. Like for example, like when someone, let's just say like a school shooting, right? And
Mm.
like when like 10, 20 kids are getting massacred,
Fuck. That's
Like
horrible.
I just can't. I just can't. But I struggle. I'll say I struggle with believing this omnipotent being, just allowing that to happen, and then me having to believe that there was some greater purpose to it. I can't. I can't.
Yeah.
Unfortunately don't think there was a greater purpose for that to happen.
It's hard to, I guess, on that level of things, those are sacrifices on a level that we're never going to be able to honestly understand. Um, but yeah, in hindsight, those those kids were were sacrificed. But man, that sounds really bad. It all sounds bad. I get it, but bad things have to happen.
But I will say though, like I honestly like people who are religious, even though
Really?
I'm not.
Well, then
Yeah,
how is
I'm
that
not
gonna
like.
work with somebody? Well, it
What
doesn't
do you
have to be
mean?
the same necessarily, but it's gonna be. Those are a lot of sacrifices that you're going to have to
I think
learn
people who are
to.
religious often have a better moral compass, so long as they're not like so far on the end of the spectrum. But I think like if you're just someone who like likes to believe in God and like prays and believes in a higher purpose, I think those are good attributes to
Yeah.
have. So
So you want to be guided by somebody that's religious, but not be religious yourself.
I don't need to be guided or anything. I just think for them, I'm happy for them that they're religious. I'm glad that you found uh like there's someone that you can look up to and that's like no matter where you are, um, you
Yeah.
know,
That's
or what time of day or when the moment or whatever it may be that you have someone to look to or like for answers or to confide in or just
yeah.
feel
Do
sound in. I think I'm happy for them to have that, you know.
what effect do you think by being not religious you can what effect does that have on somebody that is? Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
But what effect it has on them?
Yeah, on the religious person, because like they're not the strongest person, like they don't have it all together either, they're trying their best, but when somebody not religious wants to, you know what I mean, how do you think that you're affecting them?
I'm not. I don't think I am
Yeah,
affecting them, and I don't think they're affecting me. I think that's what I'm kind of getting at. Is like their beliefs have no effect on me, and my beliefs have no effect on them. Your life will continue to tick away, and
so you have like religious friends, but you wouldn't want to be with somebody religious, you know what I mean? Or
no, I would love to be with somebody who's religious.
but you're
I
just gonna
think
make
if
their life
I,
harder.
how am I gonna make their life harder?
Because
I
you're
think
not
if like
religious.
they're no, I think there's a lot of good things to religion that doesn't require me like speaking to a higher power. Like, there's a lot of good things written in the Bible. Or like whatever religion you choose to practice. There's a lot to learn from it, even if you're not, you know, spreading the gospel or whatever it may be. But
Yeah.
yeah, again, I think like being religious often means that you are like you have a better moral compass, and I feel like those people I gravitate towards more, anyways. But yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think just because. Some people will. Some people would be like, "Oh, how are you?" Like they'll look at you a certain way because you're not religious, and they'll think you're crazy. But that's their problem, not mine. But
Jesus
yeah,
Christ, that's so
I
bad.
don't think, I don't think that. Like, I'm not saying I need someone to be religious. Like, if I'm gonna date somebody, I don't need them to be religious. I don't care whether they are or aren't. But if they happen to be, and they aren't like obsessive over it, then I think that's a good thing, like a net positive. Now,
Gosh.
again, if they are obsessive over it and they're like making you feel bad because you're not, then I
Yeah.
think it's just better that I don't even think we'd even like it would ever get to that point. Like we probably wouldn't even be friends, let
Well,
alone date though.
yeah. What if that person wants to get into being religious more? Like, what if that's what they want to do? Would you support
Would you say?
that? Would you, if
Hey,
somebody
what was the
like
question?
somebody who's religious, they want to get deeper into their religion, but you don't feel that way. How do you think that will how do you think
I would
that'll
let
come
them.
off? Yeah, but
I
they
would
want to
allow
do
them. I
it
think if they want to,
but they
if they
want to
want
do
to
it
have a deeper
together.
connection with God,
But they
oh,
want to do
together, then I'll do it together.
it. Besides, that was that
I'll do it
easy.
together.
You're
Like,
just
let's
like,
say, for example, I date somebody who is very religious, and they would really like it if I went to church with them, right? Or went to mass with them, and I'd go,
but
you
you
know?
wouldn't
I don't
actually get
think
into like, would you understand like what's happening, or would you
I
just
would
be
do my
there like a
best.
body?
I would do my best to be open-minded and see what it's about.
Gotcha.
Now, I'm not like closed off into thinking that like, oh, I would never believe in God. I don't think that. I'm open to having my mind changed, and so if someone else wants to show me something, then that's fine. But if like I already know that things are gonna like some questions are gonna arise, and if they, I think it takes like two very mature people to like understand that dynamic and like,
Yeah.
hey, this is not something that I necessarily am all for, but I'm willing to give it a shot. And if I don't like fully accept it, you can't be mad at me. I'm still here giving it an effort,
Yeah.
you know.
No, that makes so much sense. Wow, that was like really well said. Those are different types of sacrifices in like other things, but yeah, no, it's really fucking cool. I think this was like a really great episode. Oh, Witcher. It is important. There is a huge difference between having faith and having religion. Faith is your personal relationship with God. Religion is a gather of people of faith, which I completely agree with. Religion is just coming together. Faith is your personal journey. Um, yeah, no, I agree with that 100%. Your personal, you don't have to be religious to understand that or believe that there's something bigger than you out there. You know what I mean? And that's all it is. That's what faith is believing that there is something bigger than you and it's not about you and that there's a bigger picture at hand. And you don't have to go to fucking church to learn that. That's common sense. To me, it's common sense. But like most people don't, hey man, different. We're in a fucking America. You can think the way you want to think. So yeah. What a great episode. This episode will be on YouTube tomorrow once I get around to posting it. I am going to get back into editing videos for you guys. I appreciate it. You guys like when I put all that fucking effort into making a video, but that's the thing. It's like I'm going to have to make other sacrifices to be able to do that. So it's like, is it that important? I don't know. But yeah, until next time, Is there anything else you wanted to say? Do you want me to call you Percy or Brian? Is it weird if
No,
I call
no,
you
no, no, don't
Percy?
call me that. Don't call me that.
Wait, why? What does that mean?
Uh, no, I mean, that's just like that's like a high school thing. I don't know. It's just I've had this forever, so. But nah,
Nah.
don't call me that.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Because I call people by their names on here, so. On like their fucking username or whatever, but. Yeah, don't use usernames, my guy. Okay, well, some people don't want you to use their real name, so it depends. Okay, my guy, I'm asking. Jesus. Or oof, nor if you know them personally. Oh, not if you know them personally. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, like imagine if I called you like JD Rock's
Jamie.
official. Like if I said that to you every time I referenced you, you'd be
Oh
like,
my.
stop calling me that.
I would not. I would feel so fucking cool that someone's referring to me in that name. That somebody even knows that name and wants to refer to me by it. Bruh. Like it gives me like that like power feeling. You know what I mean?
Just going on an ego trip,
I
just
know it's
off a
horrible.
gamer tag.
It's
That's
horrible.
crazy.
Oh my gosh. Well, anyways, you guys, I'm getting out of here. I'm gonna end stream. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for being here. I really fucking appreciate it. Brian, thank you for being here. You had some really good shit to say about the topic, and I really appreciate that. So fuck yeah. I love you guys. I'll see you
No problem.
guys
Thanks for having me here.
next
Hope everybody
time.
else has a great night. Uh, later.